Hi. I'm not that tech savvy, so I'm kind of like I flip my phone over to record myself. So when I'm done, I'm gonna flip my phone back over to the PowerPoint. I'll just run through this as if I were in the classroom. Ignore any mess ups or anything that it probably would have normally happened in the classroom. So I have a journal here beside me with extra notes. So if you see me kind of just take a pause, it's because I'm reading my notes that I had. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna flip my phone. Yay! Okay, so sorry about that. Hi. I'm here to talk about waste management, and it's presented by obviously myself. My name is Kelsey, if you didn't know. So I'm gonna get started. What is waste management? By definition, waste management is the collection, transportation, and disposal of garbage, sewage, and other waste products. Waste management is compiled of the proper processes of handling waste materials and making sure it complies with health codes and environmental regulations. Recycling has also become a big part of waste management and is to help with creating a more sustainable environment on Earth. Down there in the bottom, you see that little symbol. That is the universal symbol for recycling. You've probably seen this symbol on a lot of waste baskets and other objects throughout Coastal's campus, and that is because Coastal is a recycling-friendly campus, and it has tons of awards for the amount of materials it has recycled throughout its years. So, yeah. So I'm going to talk about the three main wastes, which is municipal, industrial solid, and hazardous waste. And then here's some more information about the three main wastes. The textbook brings up how in other countries these wastes end up in dumps or possibly rivers that damage the quality of life in those countries. A perfect example is how in underdeveloped countries, the water there or the rivers is very dangerous to drink because of the amount of waste that is dumped into it. So their drinking water comes from those rivers, and it's very dangerous for them to drink because it hurts their quality of life. So, but thankfully the United States has created a system for waste management through sanitary landfills that are lined with clay to minimize leakage of pollutants to aquifers. And then we have modern landfills that are used to help regulate municipal and industrial waste. There are also some landfills and procedures dedicated just specifically to hazardous material because they can potentially be radioactive and deadly. Another good example of this is the incident with Chernobyl. I can't remember the video we watched in the class. I think it was something about, I'm not even going to try to say it because I don't want to mess up, but there is a segment in this video we watched in the class that goes over the Chernobyl incident and how serious it was because the radioactive levels were so high and people had to evacuate. So, question number 1, what are common hazardous household items? If I was in a classroom, I would ask the people there if they could list off some examples. Since it's just me and my phone, I'm gonna go ahead and skip through this. So obviously some people may have said batteries, paint, smoke detectors, thermostats, fluorescent lamps, and then consumer devices. A cell phone is a good example, or a laptop and an iPad, possibly a battery pack. Any of those sorts are good examples of possible hazardous items, and then this is the universal hazardous symbol. So question number 2 is, does South Carolina have a waste management law? Let's find out. Yes, they do. Haha, fun. So, in 1991, South Carolina passed a law called the South Carolina Solid Waste Policy and Management Act. The law was to regulate waste disposal and ensuring that it is helping with keeping a sustainable environment. This logo that I pulled actually came from a marketing campaign. I want to say back in the early 2000s. I'll have to double check my research, but it came out back in the early 2000s. It's called Don't Waste Food, South Carolina. Prevent, donate, and compost. This is to recycle the food that we used and find more ways to use it, which was really cool. So question number 3 is, what is the closest landfill to me? I'm sure we're all in different parts of the world right now. Maybe not the world, but maybe like the East Coast, I guess. I don't know. But if we were at school, we would know that there is a landfill down the road from us in Conway, South Carolina, which is really cool. So the picture I pulled here is an aerial view of the land at Horry County's Solid Waste Authority plant. It accepts hazardous household materials, which is interesting. And then back in 2017, they passed a rule where lawn trimmings were only going to be accepted in a paper bag, no more plastic bags, which was pretty cool considering how close we live to the ocean and how severely plastic bags impact the ocean. So here's my news article. I'm hoping this doesn't get all fidgety on me, but okay, here we go. So here's the news article I pulled. It's from The Conversation. It's actually a really cool website. This article is about South Africa's response to COVID-19 worsens the plight of waste reclaimers. So this guy is a waste reclaimer. I'm not gonna go on and on about this article just because it is kind of lengthy. If you have time, Dr. Carter, sorry. If you have time, read through it. It's actually pretty cool. But so back to this guy. This guy is a waste picker, and waste pickers are people who go through the garbages in people's homes. So I think this is either a business or a home back here, and this is their garbage disposal. So these people that are waste pickers go through and pick out the recyclables, which is pretty cool. So the article talks about how COVID-19 has impacted the waste pickers of South Africa, and that it keeps disrupting their efforts to keep South Africa clean. Obviously, there's laws and regulations how people need to stay quarantined in South Africa, and I'm assuming these waste pickers are, but there is that opportunity, and that's my next bullet point is that there is this opportunity for them to go out and still pick the waste, but South Africa's government does not deem these people as essential. They are considered non-essential, which I think is very interesting considering they're helping keep our environment clean, making sure we are sustainable, and they're deemed as non-essential. I think that's kind of weird. I don't know. Their government is definitely different than ours. But basically, the article goes on and on about how their government doesn't want to give them benefits. A good example is like a healthcare plan, because they just do not deem them as essential, and I think it's personally not fair. If you want to hang out after and talk to me about it, if we were in the classroom, we could talk more about it. But South Africa has waste pickers, and COVID-19 has really impacted them because South Africa's waste levels have gone up and their country is getting affected by it, which is sad, but it's, I guess, the truth. So yeah, there's my news article. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the 5 interesting facts. My first fact is recycling 1 ton of aluminum saves 14,000 kilowatts of energy, and that helps significantly with sustainability and one's ecological footprint. That came from the MW Waste website. And then the second fact is recycling 1 ton of paper saves 17 trees. I thought this was really interesting personally, because I do recycle a lot of paper when I'm on campus. When I'm at home, not so much, but I still try to. On campus, I recycle a lot of paper, so it makes me feel pretty good that I'm saving lots of trees. So I guess that's something to think about when you want to throw away your old assignments that were on paper. Try to recycle them. And then that fact came from MW Waste Management as well. My third interesting fact is approximately 11.5 billion is spent every year to clean up litter, and that's not counting the garbage in the oceans that cannot be cleaned up. I thought that was very insightful and interesting, considering how close we live to the ocean and how how damaging it can be, but that information came from Aero Waste website. So my next fact is the U.S. is the #1 trash producing country in the world at 1,609 pounds per person per year. This means that 5% of the world's people generate 40% of the world's waste. That was kind of mind-blowing, but I'm also not surprised that the U.S. is #1 in that. You can tell me your thoughts later. If not, cool beans. But that information came from the University of Southern Indiana. And then my 5th interesting fact was every year each American throws out about 1,200 pounds of organic garbage that can be composted. And that information came from the University of Southern Indiana as well. So, yeah. Here's my works cited. It's in, it was in MLA, but anyways, here's my works cited. Yeah, I guess I'll flip it back. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm not that tech savvy. I'm sorry this was a very janky video. In quarantine, I've started to pick up more skills about being tech savvy, but I guess recording myself doing a PowerPoint isn't one of them. So if you have any issues, just let me know, and thanks for listening and watching. Bye!